Hard in Sports podcast. I'm here with Sam. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I've been out and about and doing all kinds of crazy things lately.
Are you enjoying I was going to say May flowers, but we're getting the April showers in May. Are you enjoying all the rain?
I'm glad that they waited for after April, because April was a busy month for my family, and I'm okay with them being in May.
But it's a lot of rain.
It is.
But
we needed it, to be fair.
We do, but it doesn't mix well with the humidity here.
No, my hair goes crazy.
Yeah, mine too.
I look like a football player when my hair, because my hair is naturally like ringlet curly. So with all the humidity, it like fluffs out, and I literally look like, Sally Fields and Sweet Magnolias with a football helmet.
Well, speaking of football, we had the draft. We'll get to that in a little bit. Have you been enjoying the postseason of either NBA or NHL?
I have been completely excited for NHL. So NHL is a new sport. Like, I've watched hockey off and on, and I understand the concept of hockey, but I have really been getting into it lately. Like, I've been obsessed with, like, I even downloaded the NHL app so I could watch the Stanley Cups. I could watch all of the teams and stuff. Like, I'm starting to kind of root for certain teams and things like that. Like, I'm getting really into it, and I'm kind of excited for it.
Well, this year's been crazy because Boston had the best record of all time with like 66 wins or whatever.
Yep.
They had the most points of all time. And granted, league scoring has changed over the years because of the shootout and stuff like that. But to beat by the Florida Panthers, which is funny, I have some friends that are Dallas Stars fans,
right?
And they're kind of in and out of hockey, right? They're like, "Who is this Florida team?" I go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "This new team, did they come in with the Kraken? Is this expansion team?" I go, "Guys, no, they've been since '93."
Right. Because I also do our sports blogs here for the store. So I've been doing a lot of research in like the different sports, and hockey's been the big one because of the Stanley Cup. Everybody's all crazy about the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah.
And so I've been doing research on these teams, and I'm like I know the big teams. Like, I knew Dallas, I know the Penguins, I know the Rangers and the Jersey Devils. Like, I know the big teams because you hear about them all the time.
Right.
Whether you're an avid hockey player fan or not, but you hear about them. So I knew them, but then there's these teams like Seattle.
Brand new.
Had no clue.
Yeah. Well, that's fair because they're brand new.
I know, but their history in Seattle isn't new.
Right.
They used to have a team, and then they disbanded because of something, and then they brought back a team. And then, like, the team in Florida, I've been there since '93. Then, who would have thought Florida having a hockey team?
Yeah.
Like, that just, to me, doesn't make sense, but, I mean,
well,
hey.
Right. Well, and then they also have the Lightning that won, plenty of cups for the whole state. If you haven't ever seen it, go to YouTube and Google.
Yes.
You're already on YouTube. Search for Florida Panthers Year of the Rat.
Yes,
it's insane.
In doing my research, I saw that.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's hilarious. It is mind-boggling.
and
how it happens.
I remember that as far as like the plastic rats from Party City or Oriental Trading Company or wherever they got them from. But I did not know the dreadful backstory, and also I would be one of the guys in the locker room to jump on the ceiling if I saw a giant rat. So,
well, depending on the sheen of the rat, because there's
the sheen.
Well, because there are some rats with their fur, their coats and stuff. They're a lot shinier than others.
Yeah.
So you have to depending on the sheen of the rat, I would probably do the same.
I think that would also probably go for possums, because sometimes possums around here freak me out, and raccoons. I mean, I think
it's just the awkward. Well, to me, the awkwardness of them. Like, they can walk on 2 legs, they can walk on 4 legs. They're scary. They're not really, a rat, but they're not really, a dog or a cat, or they're just kind of their own animal out there, and so it's just a little on the creepy side.
And we're in the woodlands, so there's woods.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm a Disney princess or anything, or maybe I am, but it seems that all these woodland creatures are just always around us all the time. Like the raccoons have no fear here.
Yeah,
None.
no trash pandas, that's what they are. They'll just come and raid even your actual pantries, not just your trash cans.
I mean, the one thing you want to stay away from, regardless of Sheen, even though they look like Pumbaa, is the wild pigs, right?
Yeah. No, just turn around. Do not pet the Pumbaa.
Oh, but as far as NHL goes, I'm a little salty about the Kraken, only because it was down to them or Houston to get a team finally, and we've been told for years and years, like, oh, you're getting a team, don't worry about it, and now they're gonna expand again, and it's like, if they don't give us a team, it's just because they hate Houston.
I don't think that they hate Houston. I think that Houston is unique in the way that the city is created, so they have to make it make sense. We have the Astros.
Yeah.
We have the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really going to make sense for Houston to add a third sports team?
You're forgetting the Rockets and the Dynamo. So
I'm getting there. To add a third sports team.
They can play in Toyota.
Well, don't get me. The Rockets do fantastic.
No, we don't have to go that far. Come on,
the Rockets do fantastic for the Rockets.
They were the second to worst team in the league. It's
I said they were doing great for themselves. Okay, they have their own internal records, but they do have all these. They have a soccer team for men and women. They have all these other cool teams. But I think the thing is Houston, because of how close we are / how far we are from Dallas.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to say, oh, well, let's add teams down there. Because it's a day trip to go see the Cowboys play and come back. It's a day trip to go see the Dallas Stars play and come back. So it's hard for them to be like, hey, we need all these teams down here. That's why during football season, as much as I love watching the Texans, especially now with their draft picks and things, I honestly believe Texas should have one NFL team. They should combine the Texans and the Cowboys and make one team.
No way.
I know it'll never happen, but that's my thought.
So
Jerry Jones is too greedy.
So you would be in favor of the leagues pulling it back as far as team goes rather than expanding?
Well, I think
condensing a little bit. I
think condensing certain sports.
Regions, maybe sports.
Regions.
Okay.
Because there are some regions where they literally can support 15, 20 teams in a city. Because they have the people already living there that will support it. Mm-hmm. They have the, fan base. They can create that quickly that'll support it. I don't think Houston has that. I think Houston has the people that will support it because, we're diehard on all of our teams down here. But I think it's the fan base, getting that fan base up and running to where we can support that without, any extra. I think that's where Houston's lacking, is it doesn't have a big enough fan base for people to want to travel to Houston. I don't think there's enough here to do.
I think
honestly.
I get that, but I think with the NHL, the most intriguing aspect of that would be the teams that are coming here and the fans that are already in Texas or maybe like Louisiana, joining states, to come see the Chicago Blackhawks play, the Detroit Red Wings, the Boston Bruins.
I do think that would be. I think that would be cool.
But what I'm basing it on is just the success that the Arrows had while they were here as a minor league team. And I'm looking at it going, if you had an almost full, at the time Summit and then Compact Center.
Yep.
Like for an Arrows game when they were in like the championship or whatever, it's like imagine just double and tripling that for, just because it's pro. But I think
I think it's a hit and miss because of the way Houston has its fan base and how Houston has been able to work with the Astros and the Texans and the Dynamos and the Rockets. I just think adding another team at the moment is going to be more detrimental to Houston. I think maybe 5-10 years down the road that may change.
Maybe.
But right now, I think we have too many big name sports, pro sports in the area that it's kind of killing it. It's kind of killing Houston because we don't have the attraction Dallas has with their shops and all the cool little river walks and all the things. Chicago's the same way. I mean, if you look at some of the other bigger towns and big name towns, they have a kind of touristy attraction to go with it. And Houston, I don't think has that yet. Once we get that, put every freaking pro league that you can here. But I think until Houston does that, I don't think we can support more pro teams.
I also think if you this will be to your point that we have too many pro teams. If you consider the level to which people support high school football, we probably have around 200 pro teams.
Yeah.
So 200, a little bit too much. But in the end, I just want hockey, and that's it.
No.
You make great points, but I want hockey. So.
I mean, if we had hockey down here, I would watch it.
Okay. Well, at least we're in agreement about that. So we'll get into some hobby news. So traditionally, Bowman baseball has always been a huge hit.
And everyone that comes in and knows me, I'm a huge Bowman fan.
Yeah.
I am a Bowman
Just
girl.
The brand or baseball specifically?
Bowman brand.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong, I know technically Topps creates Bowman. It's all of the same product. But I just believe that Bowman's cards are better quality. I think they have a better cardboard behind them. I think the pictures are better. The centering's better. I prefer Bowman cards over Topps cards every day of the week.
And the big appeal with them is that they dig into the minor league system.
Yes.
So you're going to have like that first Bowman.
I am definitely a draft chaser, a prospect chaser.
Right.
When it comes to that.
One of the biggest first Bowmans this year is Drew Jones.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And of course, when people are chasing cards, you have like what they call the paper version or the cardboard version.
Yes.
Then you have all these chrome variants. But of course, all the serial number stuff is going to be highly sought after, as well as cards that are exclusive to certain types of packs, right? So one of these every year are the Mojo Prisms that are only in baseball mega boxes.
Yes.
Those are typically retail where you're pulling your hair out trying to find them at Target or Walmart. This year they will have hobby distribution. What do you think about that?
I am honest as the shop. I am super thankful because now I don't have to go out and buy the retail for the store, or we have to buy the retail for the store to get it in here. I am excited because I'm excited to see if that means the ratio of the Mojos kind of limits itself. Because you could only find it in retails, they were in quite a few boxes per case. Now that they're doing retail and hobby, are they going to limit that a little bit more to make them a little more rare? Are they going to just explode them because they are adding them to the hobby? But honestly, I'm excited because that's one of those big things, especially with Bowman cards, because Bowman doesn't do a lot of parallels and inserts, kind of like Topps does, or Panini and things like that. They kind of scale that back down because they want their cards to be the chase cards, those things. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what the ratios are in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that overall the print run is going to be going up on a lot of stuff since the Fanatics.
Yes.
And I'm sure they're kind of responsible for that push and distribution. But the parallels and the colored serial number cards, those are going to be still highly sought after. So I think regular base, yes, more prevalent. But, if it's serial numbered, we do that assuming that all those numbers are correct and that those are limited. And then since we're talking about baseball cards, y'all will be having a month-long men's College World Series event from May 26th until the end of June.
We are.
You want to tell us about that?
So men's College World Series is a huge event. We all know this. We all watch it if we're prospect hunters, or even if we just love the sport of baseball. So we are doing because College World Series runs a month and a half. So we'll be running a bracket style towards the end, towards when we get down to the final teams. We'll also be doing punch cards. So you can come in, and technically it's a signature, initials, but you can there's punch cards for 4 punches, 8 punches, 12 punches, and 16 punches. There will be prizes for each thing, each section that you get. And it's kind of like what we did with the March Madness bracket challenge. The person with the closest or the highest number of correct picks will get, some prizes and all kinds of cool things. But I'm super excited for this. As a baseball fan, I love College World Series, whether it's men's or women's, but I am like obsessed. And some of these teams that are coming into this College World Series are newbies. A lot of these teams that are qualifying to come into this are teams that haven't been in years. And that's super exciting to see.
Yeah. It's an interesting time for sure. And I love whenever Sam Houston makes a push. They haven't made it to the World Series yet. Maybe one day.
They'll get there.
Maybe.
It's just like every team. They kind of have to find their groove, and then once they do, they'll be in it for 5 or 6 years, and then all of those kids will graduate from college, and then they'll move on. But I love the new teams that are coming in, because all these new prospects, Drew Jones, Holiday being one. I mean, all of these guys are just, it's fantastic to see them.
Right. And so the punch card event and all that starts May 26th.
It does.
And it goes through the end of June.
It goes through the end of June because College World Series. So the College World Series has about 4 different brackets. Stages within the College World Series itself. The bracket challenge will be towards the end when we have like our final 16 to 20 teams, depending on how they do it this year. But we will be running watch parties. We will be doing punch days, double days, all kinds of stuff. So I'm super excited fun. For that.
Yeah, so that starts again on May 26th. Now, some other news. One of the hottest products of 2023 is a 2021 product. So just when I thought we were done with all this,
this crazy
backstock stuff,
right?
But I think I've said this probably around 7 times out of the 70-something episodes of Cars to Yards, but a tennis product.
And
finally, by a big company.
I know.
By a company I've heard of, by Topps, 2021 Topps Chrome. People love Chrome. They love the refractors, all the glittery and shiny inserts.
Yep.
This is going to be Topps Chrome Tennis. It's not going to have everybody, but it's a 100-card base set with lots of classic players and current players alike. The big chases are going to be autos from players like Coco Gauff and Pete Sampras.
Oh, yes.
They're all going to be serial numbers, so they are going to be tough. But
they are going to be super tough.
The base is 50 or less, and then you, of course, probably have 6 or 7 color variants of those. Also...
And these inserts, have you seen?
Yeah.
They are fantastic.
Aces, Battle of the Baseline, Rings of Honor. So I'm just glad tennis is finally getting a set, and that Coco Gauff card is going to be big.
It's going to be huge.
She's probably the biggest current star.
I would say so. Yeah.
And they had to individually license everyone, so that's why you're not going to have
everybody. Yeah.
But it's a good start, and some people may get tired of Chrome. I don't.
I like Chrome in the fact that I like the way that they design their cards to be unique in every set. Don't get me wrong, you still get your base colors, your base parallel colors, your blues, your greens, whatever. But your special inserts and your special parallels, they're each individual, they're special for that complete set. Baseball's not going to have the same ones as basketball, and basketball's not going to have the same ones as tennis. They make them unique within themselves, so that way you're not getting a lot of crossover. And I like that with Chrome. I think they do a really good job with that.
Absolutely. And then speaking of Chrome, Bowman U Chrome basketball, featuring Victor Wembanyama, also known as Wemby, who's going to be the number 1 pick without a doubt.
Yes.
7'3", 7'4".
You can't,
point guard skill is crazy.
Right, he's just ridiculous.
And then on the women's side, of course, made famous from the NCAA tournament this year, Caitlin Clark from Iowa. They're also going to have autos and Bowman U Inception. So that's but Bowman U Chrome basketball is going to follow that up. And I just can't really remember a 1-2 punch like that in quite some time, especially for both men and women.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I don't think I've ever seen a year, or if I have, it's been forever, where a top man and a top woman were going to be drafted, and those are the cards to chase. Like, I don't think in all my years in the hobby, I think this has been one of maybe like a handful of times where those are the ones you want.
And Caitlin Clark is only a junior, and there's been rumblings of her playing a 5th season because of her the COVID year.
Yep.
She could be eligible. Now, I can't imagine that if she has a season anything like her last season, you're going to be the number 1 pick. Just go.
Oh, yeah. Just go.
But with the thing to remember about Bowman U is that you're going to have current players as well. Like, obviously,
yes.
Wemby going to be number 1, and you're going to have a lot of players like that are going to be drafted coming up here in June, or have already been in the WNBA draft by that time. But that'll be an interesting product. And speaking of getting drafted, Texans did a pretty great job. I think.
Have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by Texans picks this year for the draft. So as you know, we did, the kind of the NFL draft here at the store and kind of did all of that. And so we only had 3 people, which was fine. It was a new kind of thing, trying to test out the waters. And none of them had CJ Stroud going to the Texans.
Wow, really?
None of them.
Who did they have?
One of them had the Colts.
Okay.
One of them had the Panthers, and the other one, I believe, had like the Cardinals or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I could kind of see him trying to go, but I was honestly surprised. I do know that I will now be watching more Texans games because of CJ Stroud. My husband and I are Ohio State fans.
Okay.
So because of his Ohio State.
Yeah.
Career and things like that, we will definitely be trying to watch him a little more often. So, but that is, I am excited for this team. I think he is a great quarterback. That's not me being biased because he's Ohio State, but I just think his actions speak for themselves when it comes to how he's been on the team, how he plays with his players, how he does on and off the field. I think that he will be a great quarterback for the Texans to build their team around this year.
Yeah, and if that's who they wanted, they lucked out that he wasn't picked number 1. He fell to them. But then I was completely and utterly shocked and thought that I had jumped through time a year because they said, oh, now the Texans are on the clock. I'm like, what did they just do? But they traded that 12th pick they had. They traded next year's first and then a couple of second and third. So very pricey.
Yep.
But because you have D'Amico Ryans, who's a former Alabama player.
Yep.
That obviously defensive minded. He was a linebacker. That was the guy he wanted. They traded up and got Will Anderson, edge rusher from Alabama. Now, I did not know this. I almost threw up this morning. The Texans gave up the 6th most rushing yards in the history of the NFL. Almost 3,000. There's 17 games now, so I'll let y'all do the math, but that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So they needed a rusher.
They needed a rusher. Yeah. They needed someone who knows how to do his job and do it well. And with Will Anderson, they did it.
Yeah.
They got someone who plays for one of the toughest teams in the SEC. As most of you know, I'm an SEC girl, no matter what sport it is, when it comes to college. Alabama has one of the toughest football teams in the SEC. Don't get me wrong, Georgia has been winning like crazy, and I am super proud of them, but it is hard to get past a lot of edge rushers and that line in Alabama to put up the numbers. You have to literally be walking on water over them most of the time.
Yeah.
And Will Anderson is part of that, is a big reason for that. And I am super excited for the Texans to see how they do. See if they'll kind of help build a defense around him like they're going to do on the offense around CJ Stroud. Because I feel like with those two, the second and third round picks are going to be phenomenal for the Texans. This is going to be something I hope will bring them greater success. Especially this upcoming year.
They did a little bit of fan service also by drafting the wide receiver from Houston. And then I think they also did themselves a favor. Second round, they traded up and grabbed the center from Penn State.
Yes. I'm super excited for him.
Whose first name is Juice, so that's cool.
Juice.
A juice box block, And then grabbed another center for depth.
Yes.
And then grabbed of course, a linebacker from Alabama.
Yep.
Deep in there. So I think.
They picked really good players.
Yeah.
For what they need, and I think that if they can get these guys that are already these veterans on the team to rally behind these newbies, these rookies, I think they will have a pretty decent year this year.
What I like is the confidence in trading up for the third pick, because like everyone always jokes that they're going to screw up the picks anyway, but it's like at least have confidence doing it. So
and
rather than waiting around,
I think
you knew
they
what you wanted.
Yep, they
you
knew
might be,
who
you
they
might,
wanted.
You might
they
be
knew
wrong,
what they were doing,
but at least you show the confidence. And let's face it, D'Amico Ryans, was always loyal to the Texans. I think the Texans are going to pay back that loyalty. However, you're still a head coach for the first time coming into a place that and everyone knows aspired a head coach the last 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
So you have you may not have as long as you think you have, and so you got to make a big splash now. So
and I think with the draft, move. They did that. Yeah. He did that 1,000%. And honestly, I think with the moves he's doing and the way he's going to structure the team, or at least the way I hope he structures the team, I think they would do – I don't think they'll do, Super Bowl worthy, but I think they'll do a lot better than they have in past years because of who they're building their team around.
I hope so. I mean, like all the analysts say, like obviously you draft that high at number 2 and number 3 overall. If those guys work out, you have, a foundation for 10 years.
Yes.
Barring unfortunate injuries or anything like that. But hopefully they live up to it. We'll see. We will see. The Rockets did not do well this year, as I previously stated. They will be next week. Is the draft lottery.
It is.
They do have a 14% chance to get
14%.
14%. But the bottom 3 teams this year all get 14%. It used to be if you finished last, you got that many more ping pong balls. But because of like the risk of tanking and all that, they changed it to where now the Pistons, who let's face it, have had way too many number 1 picks lately.
Yes.
The Spurs and Rockets have not had first picks since Tim Duncan and Yao Ming. A while. 20 plus years.
I was going to say at least 20 years.
Longer for the Spurs, but 2002 with Yao and then 1997 with Duncan. So I'm not going to root for the Spurs, but I would rather the Spurs get it because
but I feel like
Detroit,
they deserve.
Come on.
Yeah. I feel like the Spurs have this momentum about them where they're like the train that thinks he can. They are building up steam to do something fantastic and great, and I feel like if they could get that and get that pick, I think they could do it. I think they could.
Well, he's gonna. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 2 or 3 years he'll probably be an all-star if not the first year. We'll see. I'm obviously, hopefully, Rockets, but the teams that are not in that position to get the number 1 pick.
Sorry, guys.
Are there's 8 teams left in the NBA. All the series currently had just completed Game 5, and they're all 3-2. Biggest surprise in the East. Is just the fact that Miami and the Knicks are playing each other because they were the lower seeds. Miami, of course, knocked off the Bucks, which apparently was such a big deal that the Bucks fired their coach the next day. So that's pretty crazy.
I think it was just one of those that nobody saw Miami coming.
Right.
Nobody. Yeah. It was one of the craziest, I don't want to say upsets, but just one of the craziest things to ever happen was that Miami was just like, oh, hey. Hi, guys. It's me.
And then now they're up on the Knicks. So once that, once that gets to, if they get past that, I don't even know what to say because it's like on the other end of things, you have the 76ers and the Celtics. So Miami could actually have a chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
So if Miami makes it, who do you want them to play against?
Oh, on the other side, I picked Denver the whole time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And Denver's in a really heated series with the Suns.
That's true.
And it's gotten so chippy. I just think a big fight's about to break out. But every home team has won in that series.
Just rush the court.
I think that Phoenix will probably tie it up
3-3,
and I think Denver will take it in 7. And then, of course, everyone's eyes are on the Warriors and Lakers because it's LA and California.
Right. You can't go wrong with either team.
And, the Warriors fought for their life and won yesterday, but they had to go back to LA for game 6.
Mm-hmm.
I just really think Warriors in 7, but I don't know.
That's one of those games that I'm a hit or miss, whether I don't really care who wins one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both good teams.
Yeah.
And they both have really great, things. So it's just meh for me.
I would rather the Warriors and Lakers not win the championship. I think Denver, it's time. If you're ever going to do it, it's now.
Yep.
It would be kind of weird if the 76ers won because I would have mixed feelings about Harden. He's doing great right now.
Yes, I can see that.
Embiid's been hurt on and off, and somehow I just can't believe that they're even leading the series against the Celtics. But
it's just a little weird, just seeing all of these kind of not lower ranked teams, but kind of unknown teams.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. And like you said, with NHL, same thing. I think we're going to have some interesting finals series with Stanley Cup finals and NBA finals. So on to the card portion, or back to the card portion since we started that today.
Cards.
New and recent releases. Go for it.
So we do have a 2022-23 Donruss Optic Basketball. It did release yesterday, I believe. My brain is not here. But honestly, these cards are fantastic. They are slick. They are smooth. I have not seen a horribly off-center card.
Oh, that's good.
Because Donruss
you would hope with the higher end product they'd spend more care, right?
Sometimes Donruss doesn't exactly get all that on
there. I get
it. I am super excited for basketball, and this particular basketball, because of the parallels and the inserts in it. They are very unique. Like I said, most companies try to separate their different, sports and things like that. But these are really great. The next one we have is a 2023 Sterling Baseball. I love Sterling. I will say it till I'm blue in the face. I am obsessed with Sterling. It is a product that I cannot get enough of. And it's one of those that I will go broke trying to purchase everything. But I like the fact that they do unique cards. And it's not just cards, but the players. The players in Sterling you get your legends, you get your new guys, you get your big hits, but sometimes you get that one quote unquote random player that ends up having a phenomenal season that comes out of nowhere, and then his card goes from a $5 card to a $50,000 card. Like, it's fantastic. Now, I know we're both excited for the last one. It is a 2023 Topps Chrome Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. Have you seen these cards? Have you seen
them? Not in person, but I mean...
Have you seen them online?
We've talked about Chrome a lot.
I know.
Yeah, I've seen them online.
We're Chrome fans, can you tell?
Yeah, I've seen them online.
They are fantastic. Just gorgeous Chrome cards. And anyone who's a fan of Star Wars knows it's kind of easy to get set onto one specific Star Wars, either movie or TV or whatever. I really like that they went whole thing. They went whole galaxy, everything.
Well, don't worry, they're still doing show specific and movie specific stuff. But
they are doing like very specific things.
But yeah, these type of sets allow them to pick fan favorites and all that.
You can pick. I think my favorite one I've seen so far is a parallel of the battle scene on Hoth.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love the weird way that they've done it. It is so cool. And their sketches and things like that, off the charts.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm a big fan of all the Star Wars stuff. Like all the show cards are not shiny.
Mm-hmm.
They're more for set builders and stuff. But this, like both Topps Chrome and Topps Finest, and then of course like the Topps Chrome Galaxy, which is all art, but just incredible.
I like the fact that they do that. Star Wars has the capability to do those specialized sets within the bigger set, but within the world that it is. And I really like the Chrome Star Wars because I feel like they do a very unique thing with their cards when it comes to the refractors and I almost said my canon word. The refractors and the parallels and the inserts, because not only do you do the sketch cards and you have, your autos and things like that, but I like that they do both the live version and the animated character on cards. I think that's super neat.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of wraps things up. Anything else you want to throw out there for the store?
You need to come and see us. We actually are doing some really cool things in May. We do have a break up that we are slowly starting towards because of the College World Series. It's a bunch of baseball at the moment. It's also baseball season, so why not? We are on Whatnot. You need to come and watch the tab show, all kinds of stuff. You just need to come in and read all of our cool things and come and see, Lou or myself or anybody. We have a lot going on in May and June.
Absolutely. And it's a good time for sports, right? You got a couple TVs up here. Come watch some sports, open some packs.
Yeah, because I tried to put a different sport on every TV unless the Astros are playing, and then it kind of takes up both TVs. Sorry, guys. It just happens.
That's fine.
Unless they're playing the same time the Rangers, and then I have one on each screen. Well, I have a Rangers fan. I have to appease him sometimes.
Enjoy first place now because it won't last.
Oh no, it won't last. No. I'm honestly surprised that the Mariners haven't just walloped them in their series.
Right.
But yeah, no, we have a lot of good things coming, and we're gonna have a lot more things coming. And then, with summer coming and more sports cards and sports releases, we're gonna be doing another kind of open release day parties for some Topps products and things. So definitely be on the lookout. Look for the website and the social medias and all that.
Absolutely. And then we'll just end with a glossary term. Let's go with Bowman first, or first Bowman.
Yes.
And that is just what it sounds like. First time that player has had a Bowman. So not technically the rookie card, because they might still be in the farm system.
Yes.
Doesn't have the rookie insignia. But that will be their first card. The big one this year, of course, is Drew Jones. So for Sam, I'm Mark, and this has been Cards to Yards.
Well, gang, that's all for today's episode. So join us next week. Cards to Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium, and the adventure begins. Again, we're located off 1488 and Woodland Square Boulevard. See you next time.